What's going on, you guys? This is your boy RBG, aka the Random Black Gamer, bringing you another video on Transformers video games. And boy does it feel weird saying this, especially after being gone for what seems like an eternity, but hey, I'm happy to be back, man. Sometimes you just gotta recalibrate and start to miss the things that you love so much after it's kinda like burnt you out. So yeah guys, we are back in full effect, and today, as I've said, we're going to be talking about Transformers video games. And anytime you mention Transformers video games, it's only right that you mention the big honcho, the game that everybody adores and holds to such a high degree, and that is the War for Cybertron series. Yes, the gold standard of Transformers video games. These are titles that not only delivered a solid Transformers experience overall, but it actually showcased that you can actually revamp the perception of a property that's been around for ages now. And that's exactly what they did. It also played a part in kickstarting a new continuity called the Align continuity, which expanded into other things such as Transformers Prime and Robots in Disguise. And these are titles that boast a lot of replay value. I can't count how many times I've gone back and played these games, and I am lucky enough to continue that because I have them in my possession. But unfortunately, those who weren't able to experience it or just so happen to have their copies ruined no longer have the option to purchase these games again because they aren't available for retail, which goes for physical and digital distribution. If you're lucky, you could find a physical used copy on sale somewhere that actually is being sold at a decent price, but usually when it comes to rare items like this, they are sold to the highest bidder, meaning that you're gonna have to spend an arm and a leg to get this. And when it comes to the digital version of the game, you're probably gonna have to obtain a code that you're most likely gonna have to pay money for. So yeah, there is a lot of catch-22s when it comes to obtaining these games because they are blacklisted, which is because Activision back in 2018 came to the decision of removing games like Transformers War for Cybertron, Fall of Cybertron, Rise of the Dark Spark, and Transformers Devastation, among others, after their licensing agreement with Hasbro ended. The last thing we got in regards to this game was a remastered version for the PS4. If you were hoping to get a continuation to the Transformers Fall of Cybertron entry and see what lies beyond the portal, you weren't able to do that. We just got Transformers Rise of the Dark Spark, which many people don't acknowledge as the direct continuation of that game, especially since High Moon wasn't at the helm and it was nothing more than repurposed and repackaged assets of the previous installments, which were used to capitalize off the hype of Transformers Age of Extinction. But thankfully, rumors started circulating back in August of last year that there could potentially be a revival in the form of an HD collection, where we not only get the Transformers War for Cybertron games, but we could potentially get some of those movie tie-in games that were also developed by High Moon Studios. Yes, we were actually going to be getting a full-on package of revived games that were very fun in single and multiplayer mode, but we didn't hear anything else after that, which left a lot of people just like throwing their hands in the air and just saying that, hey, it was nice to dream. But now more details have started to accumulate to make it seem like that dream is going to become a inevitable reality. A little over a month ago, a X/Twitter user by the name of TF Hype Guy spotted all of these aforementioned games over on the Xbox and Steam stores, which is great news because if you guys remember the last time we actually heard about these details, there was actually murmurings going around that Activision may have lost the source codes so they could actually properly bring the game back to life. But lo and behold, those were all considered fake rumors that were actually debunked by people within Activision's camp. So this isn't a surprise that they're trying to relaunch this, because there's a new detail going around that since they have new management, they're moving in a different way. Like, it's important to remind you guys that within the past year, these guys were acquired by Microsoft and all of its various titles along with it. So they're going to actually put forth a concerted effort to revive these games and actually do right, because if you guys remember too, like when it came to that of the Transformers Cybertron games, particularly their developer High Moon Studios, they were shafted in the worst ways. There were a lot of talents within that team that were laid off, and the ones that were left over were reduced to being these porters. They basically just worked on the console versions of games like Call of Duty and Destiny, which is a big bummer because these guys are worth more than that. These are talented individuals that actually made sure that Transformers could be looked at in a different light from a AAA game perspective. And now that we're actually getting these games to make a triumphant return, I'm hoping that it leads into something such as High Moon Studios getting back in that developer's chair to work on another War for Cybertron title, especially since they're owned by Microsoft, and we already know money isn't a thing when it comes to that particular company, let's just be honest. But anyways, let's just talk about why there's even more confirmation that this thing is more so becoming a possibility, because there still is a lot of suspicion on these things, but it hasn't necessarily been brought to light until now, and that's the fact that not only are they trying to get the War for Cybertron licenses back, they're also trying to bring back that old library of Marvel games. Yes, it's recently been reported that Xbox plans on capitalizing off the massive success of Marvel's Deadpool and Wolverine movie by relicensing Deadpool and the Marvel Ultimate Alliance ports, among other titles. All those titles were also relinquished by Activision after their deal with Marvel expired, and since that happened, Marvel has been killing it with their new strategy to just license their game out to prestigious developers who actually care about each property that they have. We've seen the likes of Spider-Man be elevated to a very high standard after Insomniac just propelled him to great height and became one of the driving forces behind console sales for the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. Like, there are other examples too, such as Marvel Rivals and that of Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, which is crazy because that title was something that Activision and Ravensoft actually came up with, but now it's exclusively to the Nintendo Switch. But yeah, there has just been so many things that have transpired after Marvel just hit the ground running alone and decides that they're not just going to just deal out their property to one brand, they're going to deal it out to multiple. And if there's one thing that I learned about Marvel, at least their video game division, it's the fact that they don't mind doing something for the fans. If they know that there's an actual community there that's going to actually buy these things, they don't mind revitalizing properties that once had a deal that's expired. Case in point, the deal they had with Capcom. If you guys are familiar with that particular deal, you know it boasted a lot of different properties, such as X-Men Children of the Atom, which expanded into other games such as Marvel Superheroes, Marvel vs. Capcom, and so much more. Although the deal came and went, it still didn't stop them from fulfilling fans' demand of bringing games such as Marvel vs. Capcom 2 back. We first got that game back in the form of an arcade cabinet, and we've recently gotten the announcement that it's going to make its return to consoles, which is nothing short of amazing, especially given the fact that X-Men, particularly X-Men 97, did so well on TV. That, in my opinion, is the appropriate way of capitalizing off of the success of something, and it seems like Microsoft is trying to follow suit with Deadpool and Wolverine, and they really want to get their hands on things like the Deadpool video game, which, funny enough, is developed by the same team that developed the War for Cybertron games. Like, if they're trying to capitalize off of that particular market, I have no doubt that they're trying to do the same thing in regards to Transformers 1, which, if you haven't heard, has been getting a lot of rave reviews. That's right, despite the lukewarm and mixed reaction that they've gotten from the first trailer, the new follow-up trailers are really selling people on this movie. And people that have already actually gotten a chance to see screenings of it have said nothing but great things about it. And I feel like Microsoft really wants to capitalize off of that hype. And this could also be considered brand synergy, because one thing that you'll notice about Transformers 1 is that it has a lot of story beats that mirror what we played up in the War for Cybertron games, where we see the early beginnings of the friendship between Megatron and Optimus Prime shortly before it leads to an all-out war. So yeah, I honestly believe that we'll start to see these things actually manifest once Transformers 1 releases in theaters, and Microsoft will ultimately be able to capitalize off of the hype of this movie by releasing these games that new fans have yet to play and old fans are dying to replay and ultimately own. So yeah. But anyways, that's going to do it for us today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video because I had a blast making it. It feels so good to be back after a long, extensive hiatus, and I can't wait to deal out more videos to you guys. But what are your thoughts on this? Do you feel like these details have actually made it more probable for Microsoft to release a War for Cybertron collection? Or do you just feel like it's nothing more than a fever dream and we'll never see these games see the light of day on retail stores? Let me know in the comment section below. As always, I ask you like or dislike the video. It doesn't have to be a thumbs up, it can be a thumbs down. But if you really enjoyed this video, it would help me out tremendously if you shared with all your friends and followers on all the different social media outlets. Sharing is caring. But once again, this is your boy RBG, aka the Random Black Gamer, signing out on another video. I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.